Hey everybody, what if everything you thought you knew about the stock market was completely backwards? We're going to talk about that in this video coming up right now. Let's go. Hello everybody. It is Jeremy Whaley here from Trade Maestro. I hope you're doing fantastic today. You can check us out over at trademaestro.com. Of course, right here, wherever you're watching, if you would like and subscribe, you can keep up with all the updates that we send out right here. Now, in this video, I got a very special question that I want to pose to you. It's actually not a question. I've titled the video, Everything You Were Told About Trading is a Lie. Now, how can I say something so bold, so profound, so in the face of someone as innocent as you? Surely you weren't lied to. And you know what? It may not be true for you. I don't know. But here's the reality. The vast majority of people who are involved in the equity markets, which is over 100 million in the United States, just so you have a little perspective of how many that is. It's 1 in every 3. Okay. The vast majority have been taught pretty much everything backwards. And so we're going to talk about that and talk about some of the truths of what really happens in the market and how you can maybe turn that into your favor. So let's jump into everything you were told about trading is a lie. And the first thing that I want to bring to your awareness is probably, if you're like most people, and I was taught this in the very beginning as well, if you're like most people, you were taught you need to buy a stock and hold it basically forever because it's always going to go up, or eventually it's going to go up. And the answer to that is a big fat no, that is not true. It is absolutely emphatically not true. Stocks do not have to go up. In fact, a lot of times they do not ever go back up. And what this fallacy has taught people is it's taught people to be really lazy. It's taught people if you just hold it long enough, eventually it will come back. And I have worked with so many clients over the years who've just held and they've held and they've held, and they keep believing that the trade's going to come back. They say, well, I really like this company. I know it's a great company. Or in some cases, they say, I work for this company. I know it's going to come back. And it never comes back. And they're sitting there holding a huge loss because why? They just held. They bought and held forever. So no, buying and holding does not mean you're going to make money in the stock market. The next principle that they teach you is they say you will buy stocks that are undervalued. And if you do that, then they're eventually going to go up. And of course, this goes back to the value vesting of Benjamin Graham in the 1940s. And of course, people like Warren Buffett and other great investors over the years have made this very popular. But the answer is, that's actually not true. Just because a stock on paper looks like, based on some of the fundamental values, that it should be worth more, it doesn't actually mean it's going to go up in value. And I could go through multiple examples. I'm thinking of one right now, one of the most popular stocks in the market. When you look at it on paper next to its number one competitor has 10 times the revenue. It has about maybe 2 or 3 times the profit margin, and yet it's trading for about a fifth of the market cap. Why? It makes absolutely no sense. You would say, well, the competitor is way undervalued, and yet the stock that I'm thinking of here is just absolutely soaring and taking off through the stratosphere, or to the moon, as they like to say. All right. So no, just because a stock is undervalued, it does not mean that if you buy it, it's going to come up to a fair market value. Next, they teach you that you can't time the market. If I had $1 for every time they say you can't time the market, I think I'd be a multi-billionaire at this point. That is not true. You absolutely can time the market. And I wish that they would just do something with those people that keep telling you that you can't time the market. Why would they keep saying stuff like that? You know what? They can't time the market. Doesn't mean you can't do it. Just because they're inept doesn't mean that you have to be inept. No, you can absolutely time the market, and we teach people to do that all the time. Next thing they teach you is you don't know what you're doing. You need a professional. Guess what? The statistics show that you as an individual trader actually have just as much ability to trade the market successfully as any professionals. In fact, the stats are not great for professionals. I don't have them to share with you today, but I'll give it to you off the top of my head. Over a 20-year period of time, 90 to 95% of professional fund managers underperform the market over 20 years. Isn't that crazy? 90 to 95%. They can't do it. But individual traders like you, if you know what you're doing, you absolutely can do it, okay? Another thing they teach you is they say bear markets are bad. Well, you know what? if you're not positioned right, a bear market can be a very, very devastating thing. But if you're positioned right, bear markets don't have to be bad. It's just another type of a market condition. Another thing they teach you is they teach you things like dollar cost averaging. They say you're just going to keep buying. Every time the market dips, you're going to buy some more. You're just going to keep buying every month, buy some more, and eventually you'll have lots and lots of money. Well, you know what? I'm just going to put a big on there because I don't want to go into all the math on it. But look, dollar cost averaging works great in a bull market. In a bear market, it will eat you alive. And no, it is not the best way to approach the market. So you say, Jeremy, this is the exact opposite of everything they've taught me. You're right. If you're like most people, if you're like 99% of the people who are investing in the stock market, this is the kind of stuff you've been taught. And you've been taught, if you've been doing any kind of analysis, you've been taught to do the analysis based on these kind of philosophies, and you've done it basically completely backwards. Here's the truth, folks. The people who really make money on Wall Street, the most profitable traders, they actually do almost everything on that list completely the opposite. They play by a different set of rules completely. Real traders do everything that those so-called educators, whatever you want to call them, they do it pretty much everything the exact opposite. They do the day trading. They do the timing of the market. They do everything that they say you can't do. Real traders who actually go trade and make a big profit, they actually do all those things. And so you say, well, where do all these rules come from? These rules of what you can and can't do in the market, who made those up? Well, it's them, whoever them is, the people who told you. And what I say is those rules that they taught you, well, they're designed to make you feel like you have to rely on them, because the people who taught you these things for the most part are the fund managers, right? The people who are wanting you to give them your money so they can manage it. And so what they do is they tell you all these things that have to happen, make you feel totally overwhelmed. They make you feel like you're weak and you're helpless and you need them. Come on, folks. You're better than that. You don't need those people. Let me show you some examples of what we can do and what we have done. These are real trades that we have done in the last 60 to 90 days. This is on Apple. We entered a trade in December on Apple with an entry price of 145. This is a bearish trade. Actually made money while the stock went down. Exit at 126. We exited at 126. We collected $20 per share profit in about a month on that trade. The real money trade there, okay? Here's another one we did. These are all trades that I set up in our live profit picks class that we do on Sunday nights. So these have all been documented. We did them live. They were recorded on video, and here's some of the results that we had. This was on Caterpillar, same time frame. This was actually starting in November. Our entry in this was $220 a share. Our exit, our target was $244. We actually far exceeded that, but we had two entries on this because after the trade set up and pulled back, we had an extra entry as well. Anyway, we collected $24 per share profit on this trade in about 2 months. That's 10% in 2 months. Now, a lot of my students like to do this with options and other ways that you can actually increase that ROI, but 10% in 2 months. This is during a time period when most people, they've been watching their portfolios go down about 5 to 10% a month or every 3 or 4 months. And here, this was a profit of 10% in just about 2 months if you just did a straight stock trade. Okay, here's another one. This is another bearish trade. This is on Tesla. Collected $120 per share profit over 2 trades over 4 months. And we actually far under shot the target. This went way beyond what we planned for. We were very conservative in our target on this, and we still had $120 per share profit with an entry at 272 and an exit at 152. And of course, eventually this trade got all the way down to almost $100 a share. Okay, what's my point here? Here's the point, folks. Using the techniques and the trading philosophy that I'm going to share with you, I grew a real money trading account over 180% during the year 2020, which unless you've been living under a rock, it's one of the worst stock market years ever. Okay, this stuff works. The stuff that they told you can't do, you absolutely can do. You can time the market. You can trade in a bear market. You can make money on your own. All of this is absolutely true. And obviously, I want to help you learn how to do that. So here's the truth, folks. You have just as much opportunity or more to successfully trade and to profit in the stock market as any of the so-called professionals. And I don't have time to get into the stats on that, but let me just tell you, the stats are not good for the so-called professionals. Okay, so I do want to say this though before we go any further. I cannot guarantee your personal profits or your results in the market. What I can do is I can absolutely show you what I have learned and teach you a better way to approach the stock market. And yes, you can do it. I've taught literally over 100,000 other people similar to you how to do this as well. So here's what I want to do for you right now. Just for watching this video, I'd like to thank you for doing that. And I'd like to invite you to participate in a new 3-day challenge that I have coming up. And it's called the Trade for a Living Challenge. And there's a 3-day challenge, absolutely free. All you need to do, there's going to be a link below the video here. You can click on it. And when you do that, I also want to share with you my trade execution checklist. This is a checklist that I give out. I share it with my students. And it's just kind of a step-by-step. Step 1 is to pick your stock. Step 2 is the analysis. Then you're going to choose your strategy. You're going to manage the trade. And so it's a complete checklist. And whenever you get signed up for the challenge, I'm going to send you the checklist along with it. It's going to go with you. And if you choose to not come to the challenge, that's fine. You still get the checklist. It's yours to keep, okay? So all you need to do is click below to get started on that. And there's a link somewhere here, depending on where you're watching this video. And the challenge is starting soon. Again, depending on when you're watching this video, it may be a different date for you. But I'd like to encourage you to get signed up for that so that I can go in depth with you and I can teach you over 3 days some of the things that I started showing you in this video, okay? So get yourself enrolled or signed up, I should say. And if you look down below, if you don't mind, subscribe to the channel so you can get all these updates and these alerts, and you can get informed of everything that is coming your way. All right, until next time, folks, happy trading to all of you, and we'll talk to you soon.